For class. I hope you all have been enjoying Fantasy Foray so
You're
far.
you're live now. Sorry.
Oh, hi, everyone. I guess there was a small delay.
Hmm.
Welcome to Armor Class. I hope everyone has been enjoying Fantasy Foray so far. I definitely have been. This has been such a great thing with such a great theme. So yes, welcome to the Foundry. We're gonna make some armor. I hope everyone's ready. Um, but yeah, so armor and Lolita sounds like it, I think that took a while, like getting off the ground, but they work well together, like so well. And my computer's freezing.
Oh no.
Okay, is everything okay? All right. And so I, yeah, putting in something with like a hard, heavy, almost aggressive nature with something as soft as Lolita is such a great juxtaposition that I think it has to happen. So yeah, I love wearing armor with Lolita. I mean, people say that Lolita is their armor anyway, and it's like it's true. So let's do this, and just the designs that are in a lot of armor work really well with a lot of the designs that are in Lolita, with like angles, tiers, frills, the same kind of influences too. So I think there's no reason not to do it. And yeah, so a lot of people can get, they'll buy armor online, which is great. I know somebody who actually bought plate and wore that with Lolita, and it was amazing. But it's also pretty expensive. And craft foam armor, which is something I learned from the cosplay days, is super easy. It looks really impressive. It looks really complicated, but it's much, much easier than it looks. So I don't want anyone to be like intimidated by it. I mean, honestly, you guys can all do this. It's super, super doable. So yeah, I hope you're excited. We're gonna do this together, and yeah, I'll show you how it's done. Please,
I'm just here to read comments for her.
thank you.
I'm
Yeah,
a helper.
yeah, definitely. If you say like have a question and I've missed it, because I probably will, then poke Nicole, or just like reiterate it, and we'll get back to that, because I definitely want to make sure I cover everything. This might be complicated, and like I've done it so many times that I've forgotten that it's complicated. So hopefully it's not. So yeah, let's get into this. The pattern. Some of you guys may have cut your stuff out ahead of time. The pattern is on the website. You should just be able to print those out on 3 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. If you have cardstock and the ability to print on cardstock, I recommend that, because just the thickness of the paper will help stand up to when you're tracing and stuff like that. But it's not necessary. Like, these are all scrap paper that I use to make my patterns out of. So yeah, it's easy. And I've already cut mine out ahead of time just because I was worried about the length of the panel, just to save a bit of time. But it's super simple. I put a guide on Instagram of how to lay it out on a big, has an 18 by 11 piece of craft foam, which should be easily gotten at Michael's or your average craft store right now. One thing about the craft foam I noticed, because I picked this up, I think shrinkflation has hit craft supplies pretty well, because these should all be 2 millimeters thick, and I measured them. They're 1.5 millimeters thick. So hopefully this is enough to stand up, but it might be a little flimsy. And when you're doing it, if that's the case, if you find that this is just too flimsy and you don't like how loose it is, you can just double it up with a second layer, which will make it 3 millimeters. But when you do that, like say that this is the second one, and you put them on top of each other, make the heat forming shape first, and then do that with both of them, and then layer them on top of each other, and then cut the excess spillover from the bottom piece off afterwards, because when two things go on top of each other, it'll make the bottom one kind of larger than the second one. So that's just the size.
Sorry, there's a question. It says,
Yeah.
how should we bond them together?
Okay. We're gonna get to that. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. Today we're just gonna be doing hot glue, which does the trick. It's quick, it's simple, it's cheap, and it's not that dangerous. If you're going to be doing LARP or combat, and you're making, let me see if I don't have any right here, but if you're going to be doing LARP combat and you want an armor that like stands up to that, you definitely parasol combat. I saw that. That would be a new sport, I suppose. Parasol jousting. But yeah, if you want something to stand up to actually being beaten on by another foam object, ideally, then go with contact cement, which definitely use that outside. It gives off some pretty nasty VOCs. If you suffer from migraines, you'll probably notice it right away. So yeah, like, but it works great. You put it on both sides, you wait about 15 minutes or so, because you want it to give off its like initial degassing. And then you'll bond them together. And once it's together, it stays. You can like jump on that thing and it's not going to move. But one thing when you're putting two pieces of foam together, here, these are the same. I'll demonstrate with this. When you're putting two pieces of foam together and you've heat formed them first to be the same shape, you want to start at like the middle, like put the middle area together first and then slowly put the ones to the outside, because the shape of the inside, like the tension from the inside versus the outside, that's going to affect the way it bends. So if you start at the middle and then slowly coax it over and press it down, and this goes for the hot glue too, that will help it conform to the shape that it's trying to make. And it'll actually help it hold its shape better because it'll have like a reinforcement of another layer that is at a different tension than the top layer. And it'll be more like stable. A good example of that is, this is a Helm piece, also made with some thin craft foam. But if you can see there, how there's two layers right here. And this top layer is just a strip. It's just this gold part right here. That is enough tension-wise to help it keep its bend, because as you can see, there's no wire here. There is a wire at the bottom because I needed the ability to have it be really, really sturdy. And like you can always put another wire on that. If you see, there you go. Wait here. Okay, if you can see there, it's just a couple dots of hot glue and some wire. And I mean, this thing like stands up really well and I can adjust the shape. I didn't cover, when you do wire and you don't have something else underneath it, I added something just to keep the wire from getting caught on everything. I haven't done the whole thing because I'm not convinced that I'm finished with this yet. So I might still do more to the back so I have the rest of it open. But a little bit of this is just felt, just to keep it soft and from catching your hair or another part of your body. You know, just cover it and make it all nice and comfy. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I hope that answered that. But today we're going to be using hot glue and brads to join these pieces. So these are just paper crafting brads. And because this is so light and so like, you know, you're not, I mean, you probably can go LARPing in this as long as you're not in combat. But if you do want to upgrade to rivets, which can be a little tricky learning how to get to seat right because there's two ends. And sometimes they won't go into each other like exactly, they'll kind of skew. And if that happens, they'll pop off like these. So this is actually leather, but these brads down here, they skewed. And so I have to be careful with the very bottom of it. That gives it a worse like contact. So you just, you know, keep practicing until you can get them to seat on each other, aligned is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, I just want to make sure I don't lose track and we don't get too late here. So yeah, cutting it out is simple. That's just tracing. And when you're cutting the foam, I find it's best to just keep your scissors straight. If you angle, you can like get kind of funny edges. You can use an X-Acto knife if you're confident with that. That is totally legit. Like just do that. It's easy. Like have a cutting mat, something like that to work on. so you don't cut your surface that you're underneath. But if you keep the knife straight up and down, you'll have a nice crisp edge, which is kind of what does a lot of the work in making the armor look good, is just the crispness of the cuts. And there is some wiggle room, like if you make some mistakes and you really like the piece, but you don't like that one spot, you can, if you have a Dremel or anything to sand it with, you can very carefully sand the edges. Oh my gosh, Manny. I, oh my gosh, you're fantastic. Don't ever change. But yeah, you can sand the edges down. It's harder with the thin pieces like this. If you have a thicker piece of craft foam, I would say anything from 5 millimeters onward, it's much easier to sand the edges. But you know, like hold the piece straight and move the thing is probably the easiest way to do that. If you have a friend or someone who has like a tool shop, then, you know, feel free to ask them. You're lucky, and you definitely can do all of this in the tool shop, and they probably have advice for how to use all of that stuff. But yeah, so yeah, so I think that's it for that. All the pieces that are in the pattern are, I mean, you can use all of them. Some of them are optional. I included basically all the pieces necessary to make slick, to make the full thing. So that's this one here. It's the shoulder piece, 2 wings, a strap, and 3 arm scales. You don't need all of these pieces, especially the arm scales. You can have, I think the black one that people were really liking in the Instagram post, that only has 1 scale. You can do no scales, but I find it's just a little more elegant with at least 1. But yeah, these just hang, and this is just kind of put together. You will need a belt or something. A piece of fabric actually works. You could do like a big sash, like those really wonderful sashes that that one vendor whose name I'm totally blanking on right now.
Noble Ghost.
Ghost, thank you. Yeah, those love them. Yeah, you could do a sash. I mean, heck, get one of her things and see get one of that vendor's things and you know, attach it to the front side. I don't know if it's long enough to go to the back, but maybe you can use that to hold it on. If anything, I'm sure it would look awesome with this.
Do the hanging arm scales restrict arm motion at all?
No. So this one's stiffer that I'm wearing, and I actually don't even have it belted right now. I should do that to demonstrate. But because they're just hanging, try to see if I can here do the overhead cam. Because they're just hanging, they're able to compress like that. And I ran out of fabric, so that's why it's doing this. They're able to compress. They're able to like do back and forth movements. They can curve pretty easily. And especially because it's foam too, which is even more flexible. I haven't had any instances with arm like restriction at all. So definitely try it on yourself. Like your body is different than mine, so you may have something that I don't have that, you know, shows up.
This person isn't wheelchair bound, and they they use a wheelchair. I mean, I'm not saying they're bound, but like, yeah, they use a wheelchair, and that's what they're asking. Yeah, their username is Wheelie Mermazing. Like, that's so funny.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you might need more than one. I have one strap. If you look at this, which I'm trying to get on. I dislocated this shoulder, so I can kind of understand with like mobility issues. I mean, it's totally different, but like, yeah. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Okay, so that's one strap. You might be fine. I'm trying to like move my arm a whole bunch. Yeah, it might be fine. It might end up that you end up needing to put more than one to keep it more secure. Or, you know, if you have a loose one like this, that's probably fine too. If you find it's too tight, this just sort of keeps it in the general area instead of it like flipping off. So that should be like, you should be, feel free to mess with that. Like none of this is a super required thing. Yeah, you should. I imagine it would be okay. If I have the opportunity, I'll see if I have someone I know can test this with a wheelchair use and see if it works out. Yeah. Okay. So, are there any questions on the pattern? Are we okay with that? I hope I made everything clear enough on it.
There weren't any other questions for that.
Okay, that's good.
Alia says that they were going to use this for a clean gone gothic Lolita look.
Nice. Oh God, post that. I really want to see that. I love all the Klingon like looks you've made too. So
I
I'm
know.
really excited. Awesome. And supplies wise, I think the list was pretty straightforward. If you guys have any trouble getting anything, I guess let me know. The hardest part might be finding belt buckles. I'm not sure about in Colorado. I do know that there's like a leather place. If you're in downtown Denver and you go towards the Purina Dog Factory, somewhere in that direction, there's a leather place that sells belt buckles, just singular. So if you want to do a mom and pop, you could try searching in that area.
Oh, there was a question earlier asking, is there a LARPing place in Colorado?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I've heard of. I've personally not gone to these, but I've heard of. There's an alliance group which may or may not be on hiatus because of pandemic. There's definitely a bunch of vampire groups. I think there's a DR group. I can find out more for sure. But there's definitely LARPing in Denver. So I'm sure. I'm pretty sure there's in Boulder too. And it's been a long time since I've checked, but I think in Southern Colorado, maybe towards New Mexico, there's others. But if I hear of anything, I'll post and shout out about that because there is LARPing in Colorado, and from what I hear, it's a pretty strong community. So yeah, if you're interested, like definitely seek out a group. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, I'll find out. Yeah, I'll see if I can find anything. I'll ask around because yeah, once you find a LARPing group, it's kind of like finding treasure. You're just like, oh my god, there's people, and we can do this. So yeah, and LARP is so much fun. All right, so I've got myself a little bit behind, so we should probably get started on this. If you guys have cut out your stuff already, then I won't need to show you the pattern. I've got the pieces of foam. I'm going to be doing as many of these as I can just so that I make sure I cover everything. I've cut out strips of just some scrap vinyl that I had. I know it looks like leather, but it's vinyl. And I've already, I've, that's the chest piece. These are the shoulder pieces. Your length between the scales and the shoulder will probably differ for everyone. So that's why I didn't really include it with the pattern. But the scales for me, these individual holes that hold the scale like parts were about 1.5 inches apart. So you could try that. And then this really to measure this, I had to just, put them together and then hold it up to my shoulder. I think my computer's being funny again. Okay, I think I'm back. And then measure the distance between where this part right here hits and the middle one. And that was how I found like the beginning. I totally didn't cut that hole out. I'll have to show you that. That's where I found the beginning one. And then I let that figure out where the two side pieces would be. So, and there's no thing about how high or how low you have the shoulder pieces. Just do whatever's comfortable for you. Just, just test it on your shoulder and try it out and see what you like. Actually, I think all the ones I've done have different lengths. And then also for me, the chest straps turn out to be a combination between 10 and 21 inches. That'll probably differ for everybody too. So again, with that, just like err on the long side, clip them to, because they're brads, you can take them in and out really easy. Like clip them to the holes, try the piece on, see if you have enough to reach like all the way around. Make sure you leave just a little bit extra for the buckle to fold over, like if that makes sense, if you can see that. That way you have, you put a couple, at least one, maybe two brads here to hold it together and keep it secure, and then the buckle will sit. I'll actually just show how to do this later because I have to do it on the strap. The buckle will sit in that space, so make sure you have enough on your measurement to do that. You can use old belts. You can forgo the buckles completely and just like use a strip of fabric and tie it. I mean, a piece of elastic is fine too if that's what you have. Like, there's no set rule. Okay, and then tools. I've got myself some hole punches here. That's for making these holes. X-Acto, which is for cutting out, but I've already done that. Hole punches are the biggest thing. This is my fabric hole punch. It's actually broken, so I won't really be using that much. But one of the sets I linked actually comes with a pretty decent hole punch that's this size of these holes. That's 3 millimeters. You don't want to go too big with the hole punch because then the brads will just slip through the hole, and that's bad. You don't want that. So yeah, smaller is better when it comes to those. Worst comes to worst, if you're not planning on using this for LARP or anything, you can just go maximum effort and punch the sharp side of this just through the foam and then spread it out. It's possible that may make it tear over time, but for a one-off thing, if you're just I want to try this and screw the logistics, just do that and it'll probably be fine.
Is there a reason that you need to use 2 pieces rather than one long piece?
For the belt or for which part?
I'm not sure. That's what this person was asking. Yeah. We'll wait till they come back for the chest strap.
The chest strap. Okay. So for me personally, it's because I guess you could do one long piece if you had a snap or thing here at the top. Snaps kind of tend to tear themselves out of craft foam. So you may, if you have one long piece and a snap, then that may break really easily. For me, I have to use 2 pieces because that's the easiest way to get it on. And having a belt buckle right up here hurts because it's right on my collarbone. But if it's more comfortable with you, try it out. Maybe it'll work. Yeah. Or if you have one long piece, you do need it to be kind of tight. It just be loose and sliding around because that's doing the main job of holding it on your body. It doesn't need to be so tight that you hurt yourself. It's just enough that it's not spinning when you move, noticeably, I guess I should say, because this is, well, you want it to move a little. You don't want to hurt yourself. Could I use thick leather? Yeah, for sure. This is made out of what are you? I think it's 8 millimeter or 8 ounce. I think it's 8 ounce leather. I think these might be 5, but I think this is 8 ounce leather up here, and the bottom piece is very thick. So I don't know if you can hear this. Wait. It's pretty thick. This is good. And if you or your partner, likes to do leather crafting, go for it. Carve yourself away. This is a perfect piece to do this with. You could do all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, go for it. And I encourage you. And yeah, if a project that you and your partner can collaborate on, that's always a good thing. Okay, so let's see, where am I? We should probably get crafting because I'm a little right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you've got yourself cut out, everything. You've got all your pieces. Heat forming. Now you can kind of get away with not heat forming with this pattern, but it works a lot better and is a lot more stable when you heat form. So let me just move this aside. This aside. Okay. Okay. Move this aside here. Okay, yeah, it's time for the. So you can use a lot of different things for this. You can use a heat gun if that's what you have. I don't know if hair dryers really get hot enough. If you have a crazy hot hair dryer, you might actually get it to work. Um, um, but I'm using an iron. Ow. And where's my lip cloth? Okay. So this part can be a little tricky, but it's not that hard. If you have a dress form, I'm going to start with this one because this is the major one. If you have a dress form, you can totally form this over the shoulder. Like just heat it, pick it up, and push it onto the shoulder. That makes it super easy and super quick. My dress form is being used right now, so I will show you how to do this without. I use a cloth between the two because I don't want the foam to stick to my iron because it does melt when you do this, and that's kind of the point. Like you're melting the surface layer and heating up all the air inside all the bubbles of the foam, which slightly melts the foam itself, and then you fold it into the shape that you're going to get. It cools down and it reforms in the new shape. So this is a little tricky, but it's easy to get right once you practice. So you can use a regular iron. I in my area, so this is what
That's like the tiniest iron ever.
yeah. And the trick is when you're heating it up, like you don't want it to be too hot that you can't touch it, but you do want it to be hot enough that you'll kind of see the foam start to bubble out. And this one's so tiny that I'm probably gonna have to do like a spot at a time. So I'll start with the edge here. So let's see. Bigger irons, you can kind of like do the whole thing, and then is that enough? Okay, that's not quite hot enough. I'll try that. Is this the only heat setting? Okay. Let me try this
Is
again.
it going to be like too hot to the touch, like when you do it?
Right. No. If it's too hot to the touch, then you've hit the upper limit of where it should be. So you kind of want it to be like pretty hot, but not too hot that it hurts you when you're holding it. Because if you've gotten that far, you're burning the foam instead. And that's too far. Like you can kind of shrink the foam. It looks like kind of burned. It's gonna sound really weird, but like burned roast beef. When it's bad, you don't want that. But
So
okay.
should it just feel like warm then?
Yeah, it should feel pretty warm, like decently warm. But not so hot that it hurts. Like it should be hot, but not ouch hot.
Mm.
um and then if you have a form to put it on, hopefully this iron got hot enough. You just hold it while it cools down, and okay, it's kind of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see it's the shape on its own, like there. It seems so simple when you're doing it. If you want to get compound curves, just go a bit at a time. So like I did that middle section because this is a tiny iron. Now I'll go from the inside so that I can keep this upper curve. Hopefully this isn't making a weird noise on the computer. Yeah, this is a lot faster with bigger irons, so don't worry. And heat guns, I mean, then you're just like spraying it and moving it. Okay. You just hold it, you wait for it to cool down. And getting there. You do want to not move it until it's cool because that's when it's doing its thing. So I don't know if you can kind of see there how it's holding its shape now. And it will be a little flimsy, but that's because this is really thin foam. I'll do the other side. Yeah, I don't know if you're able to see like how it kind of gets noodly when it's ready. I'm gonna peel that one back a little bit. And then, yeah, it's holding its shape. Which that seems like, kind of like anticlimactic because it really is that easy. um, yeah. So like, can I have that bottle behind you? One trick I do want to show you guys, and I'll do it with this. Just the bottle at the top. Yoink. Okay. All right. So this is just a round object that's hard. I know that's technically like an alcohol bottle, but I'm using it as an object hard. um,
I was gonna
so
say.
I know. So now I'm gonna heat up one of the shoulder blades or wings, I guess to call it, and show you a more compound curve. And I'm going to be using that hard object basically as resistance against how I'm folding it so that it will conform to a more compound curve, which is a little hard to do with just your fingers, at least evenly. But yeah, the heat shaping is really like the bread and butter of all of this. Okay, so I'm just kind of pushing it on. And it's stretching the foam like a little bit. Uh-huh. It also makes it cool down faster because it's a cold object, but I don't know if you can see now how this is like a compound rounded curve. If you can see the bubbliness of that. And so you could do that with both of them.
You and that tiny little iron.
You know, my big iron was too big to fit in this area, so I was just like, oh shoot, what do I do? And this is the only other option. But I don't know, I'm coming to like it. Like it's really funny.
Someone was like, it's like SpongeBob's tiniest violin.
Yes, that's how I feel. Actually, yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so just like stretching it. Ooh, that one went really fast. Okay. So yeah, if you can see how that's a cupped curve. Now, like, and I mean, it really is kind of like that easy. And I know you guys liked the black one has like these ridges, which I don't know if you can see right there. Those are easy to do too. So I will heat the tips and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. So for this one, I'll put the fold like at the tips.
Someone said they like your nails.
Oh gosh, yeah, they're
They're
thank you.
so long.
I don't know why they do this. It's so weird. Okay, so if you can see,
Those are your real nails, right?
yeah, they I have to cut soon. It's gotten too long, but yeah, I don't know why my nails just grow like crazy. Like it's kind of crazy. So yeah, I heated up the tip, and now I'm literally, if you can see that, I'm folding it in half and pushing the two sides together. I'm basically using my thumbs as like a tool shape. And yeah, it just stays like that. I guess I pulled that side up a little bit more so I can like carefully heat that other tip. Actually, let's do both tips. I'll show you this side. So if you have a full size iron, like you can use the very tip of the iron. You don't need this like weird tiny iron. Oh, okay. Here's an example of when I heated it just a little too much. You can see the fabric texture is like stuck in there. That'll be fine. Like you don't have to coat your foam with anything afterwards, but if you do coat it with a sealant, It'll get rid of any of those mistakes. But yeah, you can see now how it's getting that little wing action going on there. Do the other side. Okay, try a little less this time. Just sort of hold it, wait for it to cool. And then there you go. You've got like this fancy kind of like shape.
Yeah.
And don't have to, it kind of does it later, but I'm just going to bend these back so it sits on there because we have a kind of a complicated shape going on now.
So someone's asking, have you made other armor pieces for J Fashion other than Pauldrons?
I have. I've done bracers. I've like half done a helm. It's like in multiple pieces. I've done this like skirt thing, which I don't know if it qualifies as armor, but it's like a bunch of spider legs that cover the skirt. Like I really probably just have to show it to explain it.
Yeah, I'm like, spider legs, what?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wait, I can kind of picture it.
Yeah, it's like they're leather spider legs that sit out. And then after that, I dislocated my shoulder. So my leather work has been on hiatus, and actually I have only recently. So there's the bottom bits kind of bent backwards. You can see that. So like my a lot of my armor working has like kind of taken a back seat while I was recovering. So there's that. I mean, there's a lot of like WoW armor back in the day, but like WoW armor is kind of weird. Like it's totally different than like regular armor. Like it's so crazy and fancy. It just operates completely differently. So I don't know if that like qualifies. There's I did work. It was a collaboration piece where our goal was to make Bloodfang completely out of leather. Unfortunately, I never saw the end product of that, but I did the chest piece. Like I have pictures of it being like wet molded on my mannequin. And the gloves, which were really hard because they were like lined and everything with suede. So that was a lot of just like tiny handwork.
Mm.
But yeah, someday, hopefully I can like find that person and ask if they still have it and do they have any pictures.
How did you learn how to do this?
Gosh. So wait, when or why?
How? Did somebody teach you this, or did you
Yeah,
just figure it out on your own?
I figured it out on my own. I've been cosplaying for a very long time, so it started with cosplay, and a lot of it was just trying to figure out how to get around like a method. So you know, like back before a lot of like for a long time you couldn't get craft foam in anything larger than those tiny little 10 millimeter like 6x8 sheets. And so it was like, okay, are you going to do it out of craft foam? Are you going to just like do it out of plaster? Are you going to like try to sculpt it and recast it? Like stuff like that. Oh, I was a costume design major in
Oh,
the first time. That's a major part. I should
yeah.
probably yeah. Right. That was a big part of my life. Just feels so long ago.
That
um,
doesn't exist anymore. It's not
yeah,
who
no,
you are now. That's
it's
why.
like yeah, that's gone. Um, yeah, so there were a lot of techniques I picked up there, but a lot of that too was like we didn't do Ava foam stuff. We did a lot of sculpting and casting. We did a lot of there's a lot of older thermoplastics like Ultraform. Celastic was like a big one that I think got taken off the market eventually because I think it's rather like cancer causing or something like that. It uses acetone, and acetone is pretty destructive.
Mm.
Um, but a lot of those techniques translate into this, so it's like that's yeah. Wait, at what point did you sort of embellish chords? I don't know. I think it was just that it was the solution to like a way to get to what I was looking for. So like there's a lot of crossover, you know, like when you're doing cosplay stuff, you're learning other techniques that also apply to like making stuff for Lolita. So, you know, like for just a basic example, like if you're doing cosplay stuff, you can learn how to make a skirt. If you're doing Lolita stuff, you can learn how to make a skirt. It's the same skill set, and so they do cross over.
You had a question earlier also. What's your favorite cosplay you've done?
Oh God. Okay. Don't know if I can answer that question. There was a night elf druid I did way back that was really fun. I think not so much because the end costume was fun to wear, but because I managed to make it like in between my classes in art school. So I went to Davis and then I went to art school, and like during my breaks in classes and stuff like that, I'd be like in the corner, like you know, stitching something together or like sanding something down or like you know, kind of going crazy. There was a teacher one time that like was laughing at me, and then ended up because of that hiring me as like a model for her paintings, which was pretty funny. Okay, so those are the two arm pieces, and then I'm going to quickly show how to do these because I don't want to get too behind. Um, but yeah, like I think really when it comes to a lot of Lolita prints and stuff like that, there's just items in the print that are really inspiring, and I think that's what got me to start um, making things that were from the print. So I you know, say that there's a God, there's too many examples. I There's like a lollipop or something in like a meta print, and it was like, okay, I want that thing but as an accessory, so like how am I going to do that? And that was like kind of how I just got started about like, you know, like I'm going to make what I want to see in the world, I guess. And like yeah, like I want this thing, I'll try.
No, I get that feeling a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
I want this thing, but it doesn't exist, so I just gotta make it myself.
Yeah. It's like, you know, it'll work. So yeah, that's just this one's not getting very hot. You don't need these to be super round. These can be kind of flat. uh this could probably use to get a little hotter. um but yeah, like sometimes you just get a crazy idea in your head, or like you have a dream like at night and you're like, I saw this thing for a cord, I want that now, you know, and then you wake up and you're like, okay, is this possible, you know, and you try to put that together. um
Definitely.
yeah. So like that's where this all comes from, is just like, I don't know, I got crazy ideas. I like to have fun, that's all I want. I like to have fun.
That's what we all like,
Yeah.
honestly.
Okay,
They're
so
saying that a lot of your chords live rent free in their head,
oh my
and
god.
like the marching band one with the super tail feathers.
Oh
And all
yeah.
of your chords are so inventive.
Fun. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes I just like start doodling and then like that's when an idea comes out. Like I won't plan it and it's just like, okay, what's this thing? Oh, what's this thing? Okay. Now I'll follow this idea. So I try not to like put up plans too early and just sort of like try to let it happen organically. And I think that's when I have like the most fun with things.
Is that where a lot of your inspiration comes from? Is just like art, like drawing and art?
Probably.
Oh.
I wish I had a better solid answer, but probably. Like probably like I definitely from the drawings of the prints, like I definitely can say I get inspiration from those. um like uh way back with Sugary Carnival and those spiral marshmallow pillars that they had on it, I think was my first big like Lolita print obsession, because I was just wanting that to happen everywhere. You know, I just wanted that motif to be like everywhere. um and so then I was, you know, just trying to like figure out like how I could put that around. So yeah, if you could see how that works, just a little
Wow.
heating thing, yeah, gets it together. And I guess in interest of time, I won't do the other two. Maybe we'll just stick with the one. If I have time later, I'll go back to doing that. But we're halfway through the panel now, so I should probably uh, um I'm gonna quickly do this strap. one thing with the ironing cloth, this is just like a shop towel I have. I probably could use something smoother, but it's fine. Um, if you have something that has a lot of texture on it, it will show up on the foam. Like you can kind of stamp it on, which is great if that's what you want. If you don't want that, it might not be so good. But like if you have a corduroy, I haven't tried this, but if you have a corduroy and you iron it like ridge side down, it'll probably show up on the foam. So if you want like a
Mhm.
like like lines, you could give that a shot and see if that works. Okay, so I have 3 basic pieces now, and they're all no longer flat, as you can see. So I'm gonna get the iron out of the way. Um, okay, let's get that unplugged.
What's a print you've wanted to make a cord around that you haven't had the chance to do yet?
Ooh, there's a lot. Let me see. Probably because it's Halloween. I'm thinking of guilty melty,
Guilty
sweet.
Melty Sweets, yeah.
Yeah, like that one, and like I keep going back and forth about what I would do. Like I just love the fact that everything is like food. I want it all to be like the land of like crazy chocolate. Um, but like what I would do for a court, I'm not sure. I do have this like idea in my head of like a witch hat that's like one of the tops of those buildings. But like I haven't like really thought that through to be honest. Um,
Going along with this is what's have you ever wanted to do an accord that you haven't done yet because you wanted to improve your skills first?
yeah. I gosh, yes. Um, like there's a lot of those too, and I like offhand. I'm trying to think of like one offhand. And yeah, I'll get back to you on that one. Because yes, it definitely is, and I just can't think of it like right off the bat. But like, there's always so much room for improvement. Um, but yeah, it's just like, okay, what am I on right now? I like, yeah, there's so many projects, so little time.
For real.
Yeah. Okay, so we have pieces, and then get a bunch of brads. And this part's just plugging them in. It's pretty easy. Uh, you're just snapping together where they go. This down here is for the shoulder straps, which I can. That's the center one, which I didn't. Here's the side ones. Um, this part's pretty easy. It's just you can use like any sort of flat object if you don't have nails, like I do, since I pretty much just use that as a tool. Uh, but yeah, you're just flipping them together. Get the
Sound went out. One of your mics is off. I don't know which one you were using. Hold up. I think it was this one. Yeah. I don't know. She's got to fix her own settings. Molly, can you hear us? No. Says that her mic's not connected. She can't see me. She can't hear me. She can't see us right now. We're gonna have to wait till she uh notices, unfortunately. I know. Now I'm the center of attention. Why? Make up my own narrative. I could. Oh, yeah, that's probably what happened. She probably got a call and like it messed up her sound. All right. Well, um clearly it looks like she's connecting these two pieces together. I wish that I knew more about this so that I could give you better comments because she's probably got some really good tips right now. I'm just like, mm. Oh, here. Oh, okay. Tell her in the chat that we can't hear her. I think she's looking at the computer now. Oh no. Oh no, it looks like she's doing something very important right now. She's got a tool out. This is, I feel so bad right now. Like, I wish I could hear what she's saying. I don't know if maybe we could try to get her on Instagram or something. I know, right? She will just come back like, all right, thanks for watching. I'm sorry that you're confused. I'm confused too, to be honest. She's putting this together really fast and like I wish there was commentary. Mm, I know, she probably is just thinking like we're ghosting her when she's ghosting us. She's in another dimension right now. She can't see me. Because she has to look at the computer, but if she looks at the computer, she'd see the chat, you know? I was just here to talk to her. I wasn't here just to look at. She wasn't looking at me. I only got dressed up so that you guys had something to look at.
Testing.
Hi, you're back.
Oh my gosh, I still can't hear anyone. Oh no.
Oh no.
All right, hold on. Hold on. What is wrong? Okay.
Maybe I should keep talking so that you could hear me.
There's lost connection to your mic. Make sure no other. Oh my god. Testing.
Well,
Sorry.
can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you before.
There's an echo now.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh my lord.
Wow.
She was in a different dimension. She's on her way back.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way that you can mute one of the mics because I think you have two on right now.
Right now, both of my mics say they're muted.
Okay, now I don't think that we can hear you. If you can hear me.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go with this. This is the
There's no echo this time.
started.
Good.
All right. I'm sorry about that. How long was I talking where you couldn't
Maybe like 10 minutes. I know it's been a while. So sorry.
Okay. Wow, I think something must have happened when my dad called my phone.
Yeah, that's what we were saying, that I think you got a call.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, uh I I tell people don't do that. And yeah, if I try to disable phone calls, my phone like doesn't connect to this. So I'm just like, okay, I have to just tell people. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay, so where are people confused? I guess I should ask.
Somebody said they didn't know how you attached the two wings to the I
Okay.
think that's what it was. I
Okay.
can't quite remember the
Yeah.
question.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I'll just take this apart and do it again. I start with the bigger one, which is the bottom one. And that one goes through, like, you take the holes that are at the bottom corner of it. Oops. Wow. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So you have your shoulder piece, and then you have these holes and these holes. You take the bigger wing goes on first. So you take those bottom holes of the wing, and then you take the brads, and then I like to put. It doesn't really matter if you put like the brads through the holes first or whatever, but since I've already done that, the brad goes through one hole, and then the other. Here, like it just goes through the other hole, like that. I use those little guides to help me figure out where I need to be. I turn it upside down. I'll spin this so that it has a nice alignment. If it's, I like to go like kind of in this direction because the thing's going to be bending this way. If it goes in this direction, it'll kind of like work against the bend. So I like to keep the direction kind of helping the bend along. And then you kind of widen those and then you press it down like that, and then it's in. And then I'll do it again on the other side. Wow, sorry about that. I hope this is better for you. Oh my gosh.
We were all like, I wonder if she's just like silence. Like
yeah, like, and I looked up too, and I swear I was like, what's going on?
I know. I was like, she can't see us.
Yeah,
she can't hear us. I don't know
no
what to
notifications came up. Like, oh man. Oh god. And at a certain point, I'm like, are the notifications making it worse? You know, like is something tripping something on the phone? Okay. Then I take the smaller pauldron, same thing. The things go into the little holes, and then I line it up with that second set of holes. This one, there, that one. Oh my god.
It's okay. Things
Yeah.
happen.
Wow. So yeah, if anything got missed, feel free to send me a message after the panel, and I'll try to go over anything that like yeah got messed there. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it just goes right through the hole. Again, I lined it up with those little like guides just so I can, you know, have a start of like where it needs to be. And then you widen that up. I just use like a, you know, to push it into the foam really, really well. And that is being a little less good as last time. Okay. Okay. Now can you see how it's like holding it?
You had pulled out a tool at one point, and I was like, "Oh, she's pulling out a tool. I
Yeah.
don't know what she's doing."
Which one was it?
It was like white and blue.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that is next. Okay, so if this just refuses to stay in position, like if you see there's like an angle on between these two, how they're kind of like spread out. If it's just refusing to this is a hot glue gun. This is a weird hot glue gun because my other hot glue gun doesn't have a long enough cord. So this little spot under here, like you could just peel that back. That's really slow. You can just get a little bit of hot glue in there. And just glue it right there, and that'll hold it. Like once it's there, it's in. When that happens, you're not really going to be removing these brads. You can, if you remove the brad, if you want to take the wing off, you will be ripping the foam a little bit right where the glue is, which is fine. I mean, it's just foam. Like you can work around it. You can always make a new piece or something. But wow, I just did not want to. Am I doing that right? Maybe. It did snap. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it did. It was like pre-released. Okay.
Someone said it's like a combination of a hot glue gun and a tattoo machine.
Yeah, it kind of is. And it's like practice to like get this to work better.
It's not really a glue gun, it's like a glue pen.
Yeah. Like it's probably better for me. I have kind of problems using glue guns. Like they don't fit in my hand right. Okay, so that should keep that up at that angle then.
Someone said glue syringe. That's literally
yeah, for real. Like that's like an EpiPen. It is kind of like an EpiPen. This is weird. Although it's not doesn't seem to leak. Yeah, it's not leaking, but it's also not coming out really well. So I don't know if I recommend this thing. We'll see how that goes. Okay. And then with this one, looks like I didn't do the holes for this one either, but that's fine. This one is an optional piece. It's not really necessary for function, but like you can pick a spot where you like, if you like the look. You might like it like up above, like slanting, you know, like sitting up really high or anything. For that one, you could just poke a hole through the thing. I'll just do that here, just as an example. These brads are sharp enough that they can kind of go through there. So yeah, you're just let's go through. And that was super arbitrary. Okay, well, let's just say we'll just do it like that for today. There we go. Come on. Come on. There you go. And so, yeah, now it's coming together. That, I made that really high. That looks really funny. And yeah, with these, I'll do the top one because I always have the option to put the bottom ones on. Now you're just like connecting the holes. So like this one goes through here. Oh, I totally forgot about that. The center one, there is a spot on the pattern for the center hole. I sillily just forgot to cut it out. So I'm just going to estimate halfway, which is kind of around there. And I'll just poke a hole right now. I'm going to go this way first so I can know where it is. Okay, that's through. Okay, then I'm going to use that same mark to get that through and then get that one on. Okay. And this one I'm just going to go out, even though that works against the curve, but it's more stable for the strap. So that's going to be the one exception to that rule. Okay, and so then this guy, you're just connecting. This is a thread. I don't know what else there. And then again, I like to have it be like you get the angles all squared off. And then open. I know some brads are like really long. If you bend them open and they go out like an inch on either side, I don't see why you can't take a pair of like really strong wire clippers and just clip the ends off. They will be sharp, so like you'll have to like cover them with a little piece of fabric just to keep that from catching on things. But yeah, if it's better than having like really long metal stems coming off the thing, then go for it. Like it's all about making it work for you. Okay, so then this side goes on. And again, oops, my bad. Okay, again, just getting the strap to be kind of squared off. It's okay if there's a little movement. Honestly, in these, because it's rivets, this one has a lot of movement, and that's good. But this one's made for combat. And this one's more decorative. Okay, there's one side. You can see how that's taking shape now. And then
so how did you get the one to be like made for combat? Like what makes it more sturdy?
well, it's made out of leather for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the leather is hardened. It's been like shaped with water, and then I don't like to do wax because wax is more like a lubricant. So over time, I feel like it just comes out. So this is just like a hot water molded over shapes and then put together. There's a bunch of layers on it too. So like there's at one point where it's got 3 layers of armor or leather thick. It's also like more segmented. Like each of these, I don't know if you can see, but these move. And then because it's done with rivets, they have like a 360-degree of twists. So all the straps like go like that on each other. So it's not restrictive when you're like, you know, diving behind a tree or something. There was an alliance group. I mean, there still is, but again, with the pandemic hiatuses, there was an alliance group in the Bay Area that plays down by it's between San Jose and Santa Cruz in the mountains there. And they're a pretty good bunch of people. Okay.
So have you actually like done combat with those?
Oh, I haven't done with this piece because this piece I didn't get to go to the LARP. I pretty much did it like right before I got injured. But there's other pieces that I did. There's in the LARPing community, there's a ton of like armor makers and stuff like that. So I mean, you know, like everyone kind of knows each other. Everyone swaps pieces when there's a lot of reuse. Like if somebody's done with something and they redesign something, they give it to somebody else. So like I've given stuff to other people and they've used it. So like that part's kind of cool. Even though I didn't get to use it myself, like I know what's out there, you know, and like being somebody. Okay, so that's one tier, and then the guys, and then all that's left is the front straps. So I'm gonna put the front strap on, or the body straps, I guess. Body straps. That's a better word. So I've finished the front strap, so I'm gonna put the front strap on. But the back strap, I haven't done the holes for the buckles, so I can show you how that's done. So here's this. Okay, so that one's on there. And I like to put the holes on the front and have the buckle be behind because it's easier to like throw something that has a bit of weight around your back and then bring it from the buckle being the thing. And then you're like trying to grab the loose bit. So I find it easier to use the buckle as like the thing that swings around your body. Okay. So I have already measured where the hole that connects to here is going to be. So I'm just going to punch that out really quick. And this is my broken hole punch, but it still kind of works. So I'm going to use it. I find, especially when it comes to vinyl, if I'm using a punch like this, I can kind of like loosely punch it in first and just sort of check to make sure that that's centered. And then I can use that little like mark to, yeah, you'll see how it's broken out. It doesn't punch. Wow, actually did a better job than it's done with me. It doesn't punch cleanly through anymore. Use my good old. I wish I could find these again. These came from Daiso, and I've never seen them again in my life. They're the best scissors that have like ever existed. Okay, so there's that hole. Put that one on here. Oh my god, I still can't believe I was silent for like 10 minutes. Yeah, please let me know if there's any questions that I missed. I'm so
No, I don't think there were. I think it was just like they were just confused at what you're doing. I think there weren't really any questions at the time. We were just all freaking out because we're like, how do we get in contact with her?
I'm so sorry. Oh my god. That's a really like, what happened? Okay, so
yeah, they did blow up your phone. You're gonna come back to like so many messages. I'm not gonna lie. Emails,
I mean,
Instagram, Discord, all of it.
Right? Like it's gonna be just. Sorry, that was a lot of dings.
No, literally, I'm not even kidding about that. Like literally, I did.
This would be fun. Oh man, what's happening? Hey. Okay, sorry. So there's a lot of buckle options. I guess one of the ones I linked ended up being like a whole inch. Go for a whole inch if you want it. I had already made straps that were 3/4 of inch. And these, if you're in the Bay Area and you go to Fabric Outlet on what is it, Mission and 20th or something like that, there is a grab box right next to the checkout aisle, and I hope it's still there because I haven't been back like since the pandemic, but where they just have a bin of buckles, and you can get like all the buckles that you want. Like I think it's like $1/4 each or something like that. Just grab buckles, and that's what these are, and they're fantastic, and I love them. But yeah, outside of the Bay Area, you kind of have to search places. There's always Amazon. Just pay attention to the size, because sometimes they're not labeled. Sometimes they just say like J487 or something like that, and you're like, what is this? And you have to like dig in the comments to try to see if somebody's listed what the actual like length of it is. That said, if you get a buckle, you can always recut the strap to fit it. So it's better to have, you want the strap to fit like the whole buckle and to not be like the wrong size like this, where you can see it's just too loose, because it'll slide around. It'll turn on you when it's on your body. That's no fun. And then if you've never put a buckle on before, that might be a little confusing. I like these two-sided buckles. You can do the one-sided ones, which I don't have any examples of right here. But I like it goes through the middle bar. It goes through whatever bar this little piece, I forget the name of, it goes through whatever that is on. So that's how you want to measure it. So like this one, I'm going to have it, like, for example, if you can see that, like, that's pretty good. That might actually be a little much.
So what part of the body should they be measuring for the length of the straps? Because
Right.
the saying can't picture how it goes on your body.
Gotcha. So when you put, I'm just gonna, okay. Okay, so when you put this on, there we go. When you put this on, okay, yeah, that's okay. When you put this on, and here's the front strap. So, no, wait, I'll go like this. Okay. All right, so here's mirror. Okay, at this point right here, and you're going to be going across your body here, and it goes right under your shoulder here. So wherever your shirt, like the arm sky seam is about where it'll be hitting. And get the back strap. There we go. Okay, I have this clipped. So if you measure from, let me see if I can turn. Wee. Okay, can you see that point back there? So from the hole in the back, like straight line to being under your arm, right about where that seam on your shirt is, and then come back up into a straight line to the other. Woo, here it is. That point. So that'll be the length. And then you want to add, at minimum, you want to add at minimum the fold over. Let me get this back off so you can see. Okay, you want to add at minimum the fold over for the buckle. So like this part. I mean, 2 inches is a good safe. Like it'll be like the thickness of this middle part will affect that. But I think good at 2 inches, add 2 inches is a good safe. It's probably a little much, but better to be more than less. And then for that one, and then you want extra length for the rest of the holes because you want like more options if you're wearing like how some jumper skirts have like huge bows right here. That'll definitely like make things bigger. So I would say maybe pick like an upper area where that'll be, and then add a couple more inches for the rest of the strap to go outward. And that'll make it easier for you to put onto because you'll slip it through and you'll cinch it up. And then you'll, be able to slip it through the buckle, which I'll do right now. Uh-oh. Here it is. Okay. All right, so buckle in. I'm going to have a whole fold over of about that much. That's pretty good. Okay. In interest of time, instead of marking it, I'm going to be a little brash. I'm going to punch through both of these at the same time. Hopefully.
You got about 12 minutes.
Nice. Okay. That is definitely behind. Okay.
Oh, no.
It almost did. It's broken. I'm just going to go with it since it's doing its best right now. We all are.
I was literally going to say that we're all doing our best.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. This is the hole for closing it. Now we need to make the hole for the bar of the buckle. So I try to find like a center point where that is. And now the bar of the buckle has to be able to bend upward. It has its flat position, and it also has to bend upward. So it needs room to do that. The kind of cheating way to do this is to start with that mark that I made and kind of like go on the forward side of it. And that's going to be your first point. And then again, the thickness of the bar is going to affect this, but you need kind of like an oval spot here. So I'm going to, please behave, hole punch. I'm probably going to do a little more than I need, but and it's slightly diagonal. We're just going to hand wave that for right now. I like them to be straight because it just makes it a little, like it won't, the buckle won't spin when you do that. But it's still good. It's okay. Okay, it's a little diagonal. It's still good. Okay, you put that through. Get the thing to be in the middle, which is trying not to do. Come on. Come on. Now, why are you up there? There. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you get that little bar through. This goes back through that side. And then you kind of bend this whole thing over so that it comes around the center like that. And it's not going to be the prettiest right now because I have certainly rushed. But then you can put the brad through this back piece here. Okay, we might have to forgo some decorating, but we'll see what we can do. I'll answer any questions for sure. Okay, and that's, wow, that's sticking over the thing. So what I'd probably do is I'd either clip those off. Actually, this is probably so little. Okay, I'm just gonna go that way for now. Now that might catch on some things. If it's really bad, you can always cover it with like a little strip of fabric, like scrap fabric. Just glue that down on top of it, and no one will notice, and it'll protect things. Oh my. Okay, I wasn't close enough. Okay, I made a mistake. I wasn't close enough to the end, and the hole is too big, so it's sliding out. That's not good. So if that happens, the brad needs to be closer to here. I'll just fix that. And this hole is probably too big, so I eyeballed that way too wrong. That is my bad. Oh, okay. All right, in the interest of time, I'm just going to stick it through. Come on. Okay, well, that's holding up better, at least. So yeah, at this point in like concept, it's ready to wear. You can just get it on here. Okay, a little short because I kind of I'm wearing a lot of stuff. Now you could just cinch it on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Now I've got a pauldron on me. It's a little uneven compared to the other one. I probably could do better if I had like a better mirror. But yeah, there's like the basic, and it's, you know, it's there. I really should talk quickly about how to do sealing and stuff like that. If I could grab, okay, this one. Ooh. All right. So this one, the chain is loud. This one is just coated with wood glue, which is a quick, simple way to get like a nice surface. You can see it kind of looks like leather. This is just the craft foam and one layer of wood glue brushed on top with like a foam brush, and then left to dry for a few hours. That gives it like a nice, you know, slick surface. It can bend. Like I wouldn't recommend it for combat since it can snap if it's like, it bends pretty okay, but when the leather or the craft foam stretches, then it kind of snaps, so it kind of cracks. But it does give a nice like look to the surface. Once it goes like this, you can put paint on top of it and it won't seep into the foam because the foam is basically a sponge. So you can start adding colors. If you want to spray paint it with like a high chrome paint, that'll work. If I can grab let's see this one here. As you can see, some people might recognize this. This is really old and it does need a bit of repair, but this is actually like 20 layers of Elmer's glue instead, with some hammered metal paint and then some neopaic, or not neopaic, Lumiere for the gold bits. So you can see once you seal it, the surface that you can kind of get. Like it can get pretty smooth. And again, like this one's not for combat. It's more decorative, since this will crack if it's hit on too much. If you're doing combat and you want to use the craft foam armor, I recommend using a bunch of layers of Plastidip. I don't have any frog juice. I hear really good things about it, which I think it's similar to Plastidip, but it's like really shiny. So I'd use that. How good that looks for just craft foam. Yeah, craft foam is kind of like, yeah, it does the trick. But yeah, a bunch of layers of Plastidip. I couldn't grab one of my Plastidip items earlier, but you can paint on top of this too. Just plain old acrylic paints. Fabric paints are always great because they have a natural movement to them, but like plain old acrylic paints, as long as it's not too thick, will conform to the bendingness of Plastidip, which is basically rubber. And a lot of light coats is always better than one thick coat. You will have a better surface, better coverage. I think one time I used gesso to seal foam. Yeah, gesso will probably work just fine because it has glue in it. But I like if you, I don't know how well it's going to bend. It'll probably kind of crack. But if it's like a solid movement, no movement piece, you're probably fine with gesso. It has a great filling property. So that's really good. But yeah, if you need like inspirations on how to decorate, like scrap lace is always really good. These are just like some scrap beads. I didn't glue these down because I might try to do some like leafing, some gold leafing to this. I haven't decided yet. Like get some flowers, stick it on there. I mean, the sky's the limit. I guess we're not gonna have time to get to this really, but you can do anything. Just like stick anything, like old jewelry. I had leaves and stuff, moss. Just use up your remnants. Like this is a great time to use like all those little pieces of stuff that are just lying around. Yeah, and then I guess, is there anything else to get to before I finish? Since we are right at the end.
You did a good job.
Thanks. Sorry about all those like.
Don't worry about it. We got to sort it out.
Right. Oh, one last thing. You can use heat to seal, but it's a little finicky. Sometimes you can end up like taking out the shaping that you've done. So be careful if you do that. Wanted to make sure I didn't forget that. Yeah, hopefully if any of you guys are making these at home, you guys are going okay. Oh, I did want to show you something really quick. If you are trying to attach anything, like you can see here's a fabric sash on the back, but if you're trying to attach anything like complicated, like these chains, if you can see, they're really too big to have the brads hold them on. You just take a little strip of fabric, double it over. You can see that's like literally a remnant, and sort of make like a little sling for the heavy item to sit into. And then it'll hold on the big awkward pieces. And I'm now stuck. So that's good. So yeah, that'll help you hold on to, bigger weird pieces that you want to attach to anything. So yeah, I hope that covers as many questions as there are. Definitely like like go crazy with like this idea. Like just because it's armor, it doesn't have to be like just armor. Like you can have lace coming out of it. You can have like flowers. Like I was gonna do with one with moss. Like so, yeah. I hope that you guys have fun with this, and I hope it's comfortable for everyone. And it's really much easier than it looks. So yeah, just don't have like your glue gun cop out on you. um, so yeah, I guess thank you guys for coming to the panel. I forget what's up next. Donate to the charity if you haven't. It's really important. And yeah, I will see you guys at the tea party on well, I'm on Sunday. So yeah, take care and enjoy the rest of the event.
Sorry, we're trying to end.